One person killed, 3 injured in Emanuel County shootout. This was published on WRDW.com on September 20th, 2022. Swainsboro, Georgia. An altercation in Swainsboro led to a shootout that killed 1 person and injured 3. Police Chief Randy Ellison said that around 6 p.m. Monday, officers got a call to investigate gunshots with injuries at an address on William Street. Arriving officers found 1 person on the ground face up and started performing CPR while the ambulance was on the way, Ellison said. The patient was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead at 6:43 p.m. according to Ellison. The Emanuel County Coroner's office identified him as 19-year-old Eric Foreman. Meanwhile, other shooting victims showed up at the hospital on their own with serious injuries in the leg and lower abdomen. One patient with a serious leg injury was flown to a hospital in Augusta. 2 others were taken to Augusta by ground ambulance. After interviewing multiple people, officers learned there had been an argument. One group left the scene and came back armed and began shooting, according to Ellison. The other group returned fire, he said. Police found multiple empty rounds of .3 calibers, indicating they were from different guns. Ellison said officers have identified a person of interest in the case and the investigation remains very active. Ellison said he's grateful for the assistance his agency received from Emanuel County Sheriff's Office and East Georgia State College Police. So, once again, this is almost a copy and paste story of the type of mass shootings that happen every single day in America, sometimes even multiple per day. Young people can settle their disputes with violence, with weapons. And this is not only limited to New York or LA or Chicago or the blue states or blue cities that the right-wing conservative reactionary nuts who come on my channel constantly talk about. This happens all over the country, particularly in the South, particularly in red states, particularly in places where Republicans, conservatives are in control of the levers of power. But I do not come here and say, well, it's only a red state problem, or it's only a blue state problem, or it's only a problem in big cities or rural areas. This affects the entire country. I've been covering mass shootings on my channel now for the good part of a year. And on this channel, I've seen all sorts of shootings happening in all places. The myths and lies that people tell you about mass shootings. This is not a mass shooting. They would say this story is not a mass shooting because only, 4 people were shot, as if being 4 people shot is not a tragedy in itself. A mass shooting is not when the mainstream media has to report on it, such as 20 kids in Uvalde or 10 people in a supermarket in Buffalo. A mass shooting is when 4 or more people are shot, including the shooter. Gun violence affects many Americans. It's rampant, and we have had over 580 mass shootings in 2022 alone in just this year. That's more than 2 per day. Secondly, they would say, well, nobody died, or at least only 1 person died, so it's not that bad. Okay. Getting shot is a traumatic event. Every time somebody is shot, it affects them physiologically or psychologically. They might need therapy for the rest of their lives. These people might need amputations or be paralyzed or succumb to their injuries later. We waste a lot of tax money and dollars flying people across state lines, flying people to different hospitals because of these wounds that should only be happening in war zones. But America is literally a war zone. If we heard about these sorts of stories in Somalia or Kenya or Pakistan or something like that, we would say those are third world nations. Those are nations that need, democracy. These are nations that need enlightenment. These are nations that need civilization. But this happens in America literally every single day. And nobody in the world has the gall or the guts to say that this needs to stop. This is ridiculous. Too many Americans are being killed. Eric Foreman was 19 years old, had a whole life to live in front of him. But because of some trivial, stupid, or maybe even a very serious argument, it ended with violence. No argument, no dispute deserves to end in violence. Eric Foreman should be alive. The other people that were shot here should not be injured. And the many other Americans who have died this year and will die in the remaining part of this year and for eternity, as long as we have this gun culture, it's a tragedy and a shame. Eric Foreman lost his life for nothing. All the people before us this year lost their lives for nothing. And the many, 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 many people who will die from gun violence this year, due to this stupid gun culture, this idea that the Second Amendment keeps us safe. It's deserving for us to have weapons to protect our democracy and protect our families and ourselves. It's a lie. It's all BS. It's literally propaganda that we've been fed as Americans, and it's literally taking our lives. And you know who benefits from it? The gun manufacturers, the NRA, the Republican Party, and the entire establishment benefits from seeing so many Americans die because they say, what? I need to buy a gun too. My name is Simon Hill, and thank you for watching.